Hey YouTube, so today I'm very excited because I'm gonna show to you guys how to play your old games from the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, the Super Nintendo, all those old games that we really used to love back in the day, like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Tekken 3, Super Mario, Mario Kart, and all those classics. And we're gonna play all of those on our laptop, and we're gonna be using a PS4 controller wirelessly to play that. So optionally, you're gonna be able to hook this laptop up to your television so you can actually use your computer completely as a gaming console from back in the day. Now, before we go on, guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want more of these awesome things that you can do with your laptop that you probably didn't know about. I have a lot of other cool videos about how to improve your computer's performance and stuff like that. So be sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video if you haven't already, and let's get this thing going. So how are we gonna do this? Well, it's pretty easy. We're gonna jump right into it, and we're gonna start by hooking up our PS4 controller to the laptop. Now this part is quite easy, so at this point you'll need, of course, your PS4 controller somewhere close, and let's jump right into it. So we're gonna start off by opening our Chrome, and we're gonna go to the website ds4windows.com. I'll be sure to put this in the description so you can follow for sure. I'm gonna enter, go on there, and you'll see a green button right here with download now. So you can go ahead and click that, and you'll come on a GitHub thread, and right on the top here somewhere you'll see ds4windows.zip. You can just download this file, it'll appear right here, and when it's in, you just click the arrow here and show in folder, and you're gonna come right here. Now, how I like to do this is basically to create a folder for all of this, because we have to install a few things and we want to keep them sort of grouped in one folder. So I'm gonna go to my C drive and I'm gonna create a new folder here, new, and I'm gonna call it Emulator Games or something like that. You can name it whatever you want to. So we're gonna take that file that we just downloaded it, we're gonna right click it and cut it, and we're gonna put it in that folder Emulator Games. Now right here you can right click this file and you can click here extract here. Now you'll get two files after this, which is the updater and the Windows, and all we will be needing is the Windows. Now you can close the browser. You can double click this program DS4 Windows. Now here you can choose where you want your profile to be saved or where you want your controller settings to be saved. I'm just going to take the program folder, it's very easy, but you can choose whatever you like, and this is the program that will open. Now the first thing we need to do right here is go into the settings tab, and on the settings you'll see an option called controller/driver setup. Now I want you to click that, and if you are a Windows 10 user, all you need to do is click the upper button right here, step 1. It's gonna be downloading and installing something. It will take only very shortly until this is done, and when it's done, as you see, it will say install complete. Now if you're not on a Windows 10 machine or on a Windows 8.1 machine, you have to actually click this second step also. This will install the driver for your controller, which is already integrated in Windows 10 or Windows 8, but not into the lower versions. So I don't have to do this, but if you need to do it, just go ahead and do so, and when you're done you can click finish. And now what we need to do is actually hook up our controller to the computer, and this is going to be very easy also. You can just take your controller and you're going to click in the left bottom corner of your computer, the start button, and you're going to type here Bluetooth. You'll get the Bluetooth and other devices settings, so you can open those up and you'll come in this window right here. Now make sure that your Bluetooth is on right here, and now what we need to be doing is detecting our controller. So basically we need to click on the plus here to find it. We're gonna say that we want a Bluetooth machine, and at this point you need to, on your controller, press the PlayStation button and the share button at the same time and keep them pushed in for about 5 seconds, let's say, and then you'll see that your controller is gonna give a little flash there. It's gonna give this flash every couple seconds, and that means it's in detection mode and that your computer will actually find it. So I'm gonna do that right now on my controller, and as you can see, there we go, wireless controller input. So I just click it and it will connect to it, and your device is ready to go. So you can go ahead and close this and this. Now if you click the controllers tab right here, you should see that your controller has popped up, and this means it's working and that we are done with hooking up the controller to your computer. So that's step 1. We hooked up the controller, now we can move on to actually install the emulator and the games of what we want to play. So I say we start with installing some PS1 emulator so we can play those games like Tony Hawk's and Tekken 3 and all that. So it's pretty easy to do that. Now the first thing we want to do is open our Chrome, and we're gonna go to this web page, which I will be putting in the description for you so you can follow. So what we have to do here is just download the EPSXE for Windows, which is the top option right here. So you just can click it, and then we should get the download. There we go. It's again very small, so it's very easy. You're gonna click the arrow right here and show in folder. Now then we get the file, and this file also we're gonna be right clicking and cutting, and we're gonna go back to our map that we made right here with the emulator games, and we're gonna make here another map called PS1 Emulator. There we go, and here we're gonna paste our file. Now we're gonna right click this, and we're gonna click here, extract here. Now as you see, there we go, here we get our program, so it's already installed. So once we have all this extracted, we're just gonna minimize this, and we're gonna go back to our Chrome, and we have a second web page right here where we're gonna have to download the BIOS file. And the BIOS file is something important that you actually need to make this work. So it's very important that you get this also. You can scroll a little bit down here, and you can go until you see the SCPH1001. Now you're gonna click the download button next to that one. There we go, and it's gonna download our BIOS file. So once the file is downloaded, just click the arrow that's next to it and show in folder. You're gonna say here right click and cut, and we're gonna go to the C drive, to our folder that we created with the emulator games. We're gonna go into the PS1 Emulator folder and into the BIOS folder right here. Now here we're gonna paste that file. There we are, so we should be good. And once you've done that, you just can close a web browser, and you can go into the PS1 Emulator folder right here again and click this exe file right here. Now this should open our emulator. So this is already very important. We have the program running, everything is working. Now what we need to do is make sure that our controller is working, and for that you need to go into the config right here, and we're gonna go to the gamepads. We're gonna go into the port 1, pad 1. This should be your controller, and you're gonna select here. Now I already have it on this setting, but it should be like this with you normally. So you're gonna select here the X input setting. Now this will directly put the PS controller setting onto your PS4 controller, and then everything should work automatically. So there we are, our emulator is set up, and now all we need is a game to actually test it. So for that we're gonna go back to our Chrome, and we're gonna go to the website CoolROM. Now this is the complete link. I'll put this of course in the description, and you can click here on the ROMs, and we're gonna go here to the Sony PlayStation. Now we're gonna get a whole list here with all kinds of ROMs. You see it's alphabetically, so you can choose whatever you want. Now of course these are the games that we all love from back in the day, you know, Tekken 3, Crash Bandicoot, that whole list here. I mean, it's all just awesome games, you know. But what I still prefer is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, so I'm just gonna go for that one right here. I'm gonna take the Sony PlayStation version right here, gonna click it. So when you come on this page, you scroll a little bit down to the alternative download link right here, and we're gonna have the download button in 15 seconds where you can just click download for the ROM. Now I already did all of this so I can show you even faster, so let's just go into my Explorer and have a little look. It's in my downloads folder right here. It's my THPS1, and it's gonna be just this one file that you get, guys, this 7-zip file. So you can just right click and extract here, and you'll get all these files also, the bin file, the Q file, and so on. And now all we need to do is just minimize everything and go back to our game, which is in the C drive. It's in our emulator games, PS1 Emulator, and this exe file right here. And we're gonna go into file, run ISO. There we go, and we're gonna go into our downloads folder, and we have the THPS1, and here you see the bin file is what we need. So we're just gonna open that. There you go, Tony Hawk's, just like back in the day. Now guys, I have my sound muted of course, but that awesome music from back then is also there. You know, it's just amazing. I'm just gonna quickly show you guys. I'm pushing my buttons now on my controller. So this is all going on my computer. As you see, I can open my Windows button, press start. Then we're gonna go into the single session or something. You know, just quickly showing you it's actually working. I'm doing all of this with my PS4 controller, so really you don't need a keyboard for this or whatever. Everything is working just fine. Oh man, this has been a while. Okay, I can still do this. Ooh, ouch, ouch. Okay, okay. You know, I'm just gonna quit this, but you guys saw it's working. So this is the PS1 emulator. Let's move on to the PS2 emulator. So for the PS2 emulator, we're gonna be needing pretty much the same thing. We're gonna need the emulator itself, we're gonna need the BIOS files, and of course we're gonna need some games to play. So let's go step by step, and first we're gonna download the emulator. So go ahead and open a Chrome, and you can go to this website right here, which I will be putting in the description below. Now when you're on this page, you just have to take the 1.4.0 standalone installer right here, and the download button is not this one, guys. Don't click this one, that's just an ad. You're gonna go to the right side and click the blue download button right here. Then you're gonna see it's gonna start downloading, and that's the first thing we will be needing. Now once this is downloaded, we will just be needing the BIOS files for the PS2, which you can find on this web page, which I will be posting in the description, of course. And here you're just gonna click the green button to download the BIOS files. Now, of course, I'm gonna cancel this because I already downloaded it for you, so I can go a bit faster. Now, once you have everything, it should be in your downloads folder, and it's gonna be looking like this and this. So now you can go back over to your C drive where we have our emulator games map right here, and we're just gonna be clicking the right mouse button, click new right here, and another folder, and we're gonna be naming it the PS2 emulator, so we have everything nicely in one folder, nicely in place, so you always know where to be. Now you can take your files that you downloaded, both of them, you're just gonna select them, right click and cut, and we're gonna put them in the emulator games PS2 emulator folder. So there we go. Now the first thing we'll need to do is extract the BIOS files, so we're just gonna right click those and we're gonna click extract here, and you'll see that you'll get a lot of files right here. These are all BIOS files. It'll all be clear in a second what this means, don't mind it too much. And once this is done, you can just hit the installation right here, and we're gonna go with the next button. You can just leave all of these boxes checked, it should be just fine. So you can click next, and then we're gonna go and choose the installation folder. Now I am going to choose here my emulator games folder, of course, because I made it especially for that. So emulator games / PS2 emulator, and so it will be nicely all in one place. So the installation should not take very long. It's popping up already, the folder right here, so that's good. So once you're done with all this, the shortcut should be on your desktop, and we're gonna see it right here, so this is perfect. Now there's one more thing that we need to do, guys, and that's all these files, those BIOS files, those .bin files. You can just select all of them, and you can right click and cut them, and we're gonna put them in the documents PCSX2 folder, which you should have by now. And here is the BIOS folder right here. You can paste all these files right in there. So there they are, and that's gonna make our system work properly. So now we can go ahead to the shortcut on the desktop, just click it open like this, and we're gonna leave this on system default and click next. I have already settings imported in my system, so you're not gonna get this box, but I'm just gonna click overwrite the new settings, and you're gonna get this window right here where you can just click next. There we go, apply settings, and then you should be getting all of these in the list. Now if you do not get these in the list, that means those files are not in this documents folder that I just showed you. So make sure the files are in there, and here we're gonna be selecting the right BIOS for our system. Now I'm in Europe, so I'm gonna take Europe, and I'm gonna take the most recent one, which is for me 2008. If you are in the USA, you can just go down all the way and you can take the most recent one here. So I'm gonna go with Europe, I'm gonna click finish, and that's it. Our emulator is now running. So that's great. This is just a logs window. You can just close this by clicking the X right here. And now we have to make sure that our controller is working. Now this is a little bit tricky, so be sure to follow me really good right now. So we're gonna click config right here, and we're gonna go down to the controllers. Now here I want you to go to the plugin settings right here, and I want you to make sure that this little box right here, X inputs Xbox 360 controllers only, is unchecked. So the rest of them you can just leave like that, but this one you have to uncheck. Make sure you do that. And then you can go to pad number 1, and you'll see you'll have an empty window here, and now we actually have to go and bind our buttons. So we're gonna take our controller in our hand, and we're gonna go through this one time, and it should be set for always. So, you know, you can just click square and then square on your controller, you click triangle and then you hit the triangle on your controller, and so on and so forth. And you can do all the buttons, you know, select, analog is your analog stick, cross, of course, cross, and so on and so on. Guys, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here. And there we go, that's it. So you just basically have to do everything that's in here in this little place, and everything that's down here should be fine as it is. So when you're done, you just click apply or OK. There we go, and now your controller is configured into your system. So now we need a game basically, and now we should be up and running. So we're gonna open up a Chrome, and we're gonna be going to this website right here, which I will be putting in the description, of course. There we go. And here we need the ROMs, and this time we're gonna go to the ROMs of the Sony PlayStation 2. Now here is a list. Of course you have the top downloads right here, and you can go alphabetically in the list here, but we're gonna take, well, I mean, this is the PlayStation 2, so the most awesome game in my opinion that was ever made was GTA San Andreas. So we're gonna be downloading that. If you want to download it, just click it like this, scroll a little bit down, and you're gonna see the alternative download link right here. So make sure you take that one and not something else. There we go. It's gonna give us this window, and in about 15 seconds you should get your download button right here. Now guys, of course I already downloaded this because I want to spare you all this time. So let's go ahead and close this up, and you'll find in my Explorer, in the downloads folder, there we go, the San Andreas game. Now it's gonna look like this. So we're gonna right click this file, we're gonna cut it, and we're gonna go back to our folder with the emulator games into the PS2 emulator, and here we're just going to paste it. There we go. Now you can right click this and then press extract here, and it's going to extract the game into an ISO file, which we will be needing to run the game. So we're gonna fast forward here a little bit. And there we go, it's extracted completely. We have our ISO file right here, so we can go ahead and load it into our emulator. So we're gonna open this from the bar here, and the system is a little bit different here than the PS1 emulator, guys. So basically first what we need to do is to enter the game into the system, just kind of like you're inserting a disc into a PlayStation 2, and then when it's inserted you have to actually start it up separately. So how you do that is as following. Just gonna click the C DVD right here, and we're gonna take the ISO selector and we're gonna browse for our game. So here we're gonna go to our folder, which is in the emulator games in the PS2 emulator, and here is GTA San Andreas. So we're gonna open that, and now the game is actually loaded into your drive, so to speak. So when you've done that, you just need to click the system here again, and now you can choose for a fast boot or a full boot. Now a fast boot should in general work, and this will just bring you directly into the game, and the full boot will act first like it's starting up the PS2 and then only running the game, which is a bit longer. Now some games actually need this full feature, but most of the games you can just start with the fast. So you can just click here on fast, and let's see how that goes. Yes, there we go. We have Rockstar North, as we all know. So I'm gonna take my controller right here. So here we are, guys. We are inside San Andreas right now. We are gaming with the PS4 controller. Everything is working just fine. So it's really cool, guys. The PS2 is working, PS1 is working. So let's move on to the Super Nintendo. So the Super Nintendo installation is pretty easy. It's actually easier than the PS1 and the PS2 installations. But before we get into that, guys, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like and a subscribe on my channel. I'm still building my channel. I'm still in my first weeks, and I'm still trying to get some crowd to watch my videos. So you would really help me if you would do that. And I want to also quickly mention to not forget that your DS for Windows should always be on when you're doing this, when you're playing these games. So make sure that you have this minimized in your system tray. This is the one that we did in the very first step. And once you have that, let's go into the Super Nintendo. So let's open up a Chrome and let's go to the website coolrom.com.au. And here we're gonna go into the emulators. Now here we're gonna go down all the way to the Super Nintendo, and we have a few choices here, and we're gonna pick the SNES 9X. Now you can click that one and scroll a little bit down until you see the little alternative download link right here. You can click that one. You'll get this window here with the 15 seconds, which as usual we always have to wait out. And after those seconds, your download button will appear right here. We'll just wait it out, but of course I already downloaded it. So here we go, you can click download your file, and then you'll get in your downloads folder this file right here. Now this we can right click and cut, and we're gonna paste this into our emulator folder on the C drive. We're gonna make a new map here. Let's call it Super Nintendo Emulator. There we go. And we're gonna paste it, and here we're gonna right click it and click extract here. Now this will give us our program, and all we need to do is open this exe file right here, and this is done already. Now when you've opened this, we need to make sure that our controllers are working, so we're going to go to the input here and the input configuration. There we go, and here you'll see your pad. Now at this point you can take your PlayStation controller, and what we're gonna do is just assign the buttons once. So we're gonna click up and then tap up on your PS4 controller, lift, the lift arrow, down, down arrow, and so on. I'm gonna quickly fast forward here a little bit. And there we go, and when you're done you just click OK, and then your configuration should be done. Now all we need now is a game to play, so for that we're gonna need to download some ROMs or get them from your discs that you already have. Now guys, Super Nintendo ROMs are pretty hard to find these days, I've noticed. Actually on Cool ROM I saw that they removed them, so you're gonna have to actually look around a little bit. See, if I go here to the ROMs, there is no more Super Nintendo, so maybe it's copyright features or something like that, so you're gonna have to look around a bit for yourself or take your files from the games that you already have. And once you find one, of course I did already, I'm gonna go to my downloads folder. I took this from some discs that I already had, so I have my Mario Kart and I have my All-Stars right here. So I'm just gonna cut both of them and I'm gonna put them in the folder. That's emulator games and Super Nintendo Emulator. Just gonna drop them down right here. There we go, and let's go have a look if this works. So we're gonna go to our emulator right here. We're gonna click File, Load Game, and here we're gonna go to our folder. And here we have the game that we can play. So let's start out with Mario Kart. I'm gonna put my sound down here so it doesn't interfere. There we go, and it's starting right up. Now I'm gonna take my controller and let's have a look. Yes, this is working. So classic game, of course, Mario Kart. And there we are, guys, we are racing in Mario Kart. I don't even know if I can still play this game, but you know, it's from back in the day. This is from at least 20 years ago, and I've slipped already and I'm taking a shortcut. Well, you guys see this is perfectly working. So let's try just another game to make sure that everything is working. I'm gonna just pause this, give up, yes, whatever. We're gonna close the emulator and we're gonna open it again. And this time we're gonna be loading Super Mario All-Stars. Let's see if this works. Seems so. And we have all the games right here that we can choose from, so we're just gonna go with the 3. There we go, Super Mario 3. And there we go, guys, we're inside Super Mario. So you see this is working also. So that's it, guys, we have everything working. We're totally ready to go play our old nostalgic games from back in the days, to feel like we're 15 years old again and we can act all stupid and stuff. This is great. Or for you very young kids out there, you should install this for your dads and they're gonna find it awesome to play these games again. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, be sure to like my video. I will be posting a lot more cool stuff that you can do with your computer. I also have some cool videos about how to speed it up a lot. Here's my video about Windows 10, how to make it a lot faster. I have my Google Chrome video right here. I'll be posting a lot more tips and tricks for your computers. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.